Good morning and good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. It is 6 a.m. here in not yet sunny Croatia, but it's getting there. I'm Jordan, in case you haven't met me yet. And um, yeah, if you're new to this channel, which you probably are because this is a brand new channel, I'm already full-time remote, but I wanted to do this to show everyone else, if you want to be remote, how to make that transition. And yeah, so I'll just dig right into it. Okay, so these are some tips that I got. First, from a post I made on Reddit, and I asked people, all right, give me your tips, your advice. What do you do to, or what have you done to become remote and transition from your traditional 9 to 5 job? I saw this like gravelly morning voice. Transition from your 9 to 5 traditional button a desk type job to working remote. And I'm going to share those tips. And then, of course, I'm going to go into some of my own as well. So let's jump right in. I am way too energetic for 6 a.m., but that's cool because I'm excited to do this, even with zero current watchers. I don't even care because hopefully you'll be watching this later and getting some benefit from it. So if you like that, please subscribe and to the video and video, I don't know what I'm saying, to my channel and like the video if you like what I'm saying. Okay, if not, you can give it a thumbs down. Either way, I appreciate the feedback. So first, here's what a few people said on Reddit. Okay, let me just kind of toggle over to that window here. So one person shared this story, this mini story a few minutes ago. I thought this was really cool because it illustrates a really good point. So first, I'm going to read it. He just wrote, Noxy89 wrote, "My transition was very easy. Me, uh, boss, wife had the job opportunity to work closer to her family. We like to explore the option, but I'd really like to stay here in this job. Do you think I could go remote? Boss. Well, I'll have to talk to XYZ, but I don't see a problem with it. Me. Look of shock. Great. Thanks. So I think that's a really cool, I mean, it's like really short, but it's a really cool story because it just shows that you don't get anything in life unless you ask for it. And a lot of times, like in this case, it could be a lot easier than you think and like almost no work at all, right? Like it's like, why didn't I even ask for that in the beginning? And I have a funny story about that too. Slightly different point, but I'll make it short. Just as far as like, getting a pay raise or getting paid at all on my first job, or actually it was an unpaid internship out of college. And I was doing part-time doing social media work, and that was like when Twitter first came out, so social media was a brand new thing. Anyway, it was a unpaid internship. I was getting paid basically for my train tickets commuting to Chicago and back. They would count me for that, but that was it. I wasn't getting paid anything else. Um, and finally, after it's like I was there 3 months, and I was just like, one day I was like, listen, I'm really sorry. Like, I like working here, but I just need to have money, to be honest. Paying the bills, and I can't really do this anymore. And then he's like, oh, okay, let me just talk to our CEO. And then, like, literally less than a day later, like by the end of that day, it was like, oh, yeah, we can pay you now. I mean, it wasn't a lot. I think it was starting out like getting paid $10 an hour, which is last time I checked below the minimum wage in Chicago. But, this was like 15 years ago. So at the time, I was like, oh, why did I ask for this a long time ago? Okay, so to get back on track, how to transition from the 9 to 5. So yeah, first of all, just ask if you're already in a traditional job that's like an in-office job. Just ask for it. And on that note, I was going to bring that up anyway. So I'm glad this person in Reddit brought it up because uh, you know it's one thing to just ask like that because this guy wanted to move with his wife anyway to a new city. But if you don't have that kind of, it's called excuse to move, and you just want to, for other any other reason, you just want to start becoming remote, I think a really good way to do it is actually. So I did this one as well with the past one of my previous employers. Um, if it's more traditional, and you just kind of want to like get your feet wet, get like slowly started. Um, a really and an easier way for your boss to kind of to swallow this or to allow you to transition is just put it like, okay, um, sit down, you have a talk with him or her, and say that you want to do it, and maybe as a trial thing, you want to promise him or her that you can do at least as much work and get at least as much done as you do in the office, because they're going to be worried if they've never done this before. Maybe you're just going to like screw around and you're not going to be productive. You're going to be home, you're going to be like in bed, whatever, maybe taking some TV breaks and just being lazy. So you say, okay, I'm going to get at least as much work done as I do in the office, if not more. And let's just try it out. So for maybe like a 1 month trial period, and then kind of like satisfaction guarantee, if you will. If it doesn't work out for a month, no problem. I'm going to just go back to being in the office, same as before, right? So just like can't hurt to try. And let's try it maybe just 1 day or 2 days a week. 2 days a week, maybe at the most. Just to really like slowly see how it goes, and also for some people maybe that's all you want. Ideally, if I did live closer to my office in Chicago. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this. Well, I did in another video, but you're probably new to this channel. So i I work full time for a company, but I just work remote. So I'm doing these just to help you and show you how you can do the same, if you want, or work doing your own stuff like freelance or having your own company, whatever you want to do, and just doing that remote as well. I'm going to get to some advice on that in a minute. So, uh, where was I? Yeah, so just present it as like a temporary opportunity, a temporary like satisfaction guaranteed thing. Like, hey, like if it doesn't work out, we'll try it out. I'm happy to move back just being in the office full time. That's fine too. Um, so yeah, maybe you're happy with just 1 day or 2 days a week. Oh, I was gonna say that if I did live closer to my office, which is in Chicago, I would also be happy. Like I love my colleagues, and we have a really really sweet office. Got like pool table, shuffleboard, ping pong, beer on tap, kombucha on tap, snacks, catered lunch every day. Okay, I could go on. It's a really cool office. I hate to brag, but well, I'm not really bragging because I'm not there. So um, ideally, I think in my perfect world, I would go in a couple times a week and then work home the other days a week. But it's too valuable for me uh, being able to be remote full time, and then being able to live in Europe. It's too good of an opportunity. And my girlfriend's here, so she's actually sleeping right now, probably talking a bit too loud. That's okay because I'm excited. Okay, so that's one strategy. Let's go back to that Reddit. Someone that said something else that was kind of cool. Um, let me just put a really quick post there that I'm live, just in case anyone wants to jump in. Uh, Okay. So someone else said, there it is. Okay. Well, the best piece of advice, this from DRAL3M, DRAL3M. Okay. He said, the best piece of advice for transitioning from 9 to 5, but an office desk job, into he wrote 9 to 9, but in living room desk job, is probably, which is kind of funny because it's true that in the beginning you do put in more time if you want to do your own thing and work remote. But okay, he said it's probably to join, and then he gives this Reddit link, reddit.com/r/work online. They have some pretty good advice there and can also help with questions. So um, I know it sounds maybe like I don't know if he's being like a little bit like sassy with that or not. But I think it's actually really. I was going to bring that up anyway, um, because there's a bunch. I just discovered Reddit the other day, and it's super awesome. There's so many different. They call it subreddits, which are like basically different groups based on all different kinds of groups based on any interest. And there's a whole bunch in relation to working remote. There's one like, I just joined them, so like there's digital nomad. There's this one that this person on Reddit just mentioned. What is it called? Work online. Yeah, work online. And then there's one. There's a few other ones too. I can actually list them in this video description at the end. But whether it's Reddit or just there's like a whole bunch of other online communities to do. I know, obviously, because this is what people who work remote do. They're online all day. So there's a bunch of communities that have great advice. And it's not just the advice and the tips, but it's also just like maybe networking and meeting people that are trying to do the same or have already done the same, learning from their mistakes and just having them there as kind of like your motivational supporters. And I think that's part of the reason why programs like Weight Watchers work so well because it's like you get, the support of a group to do, or any group, whatever you're trying to do. Let's say some like you go to an AA meeting that have an alcohol problem, and you use the support of everyone there to help you overcome your obstacle. Not that I should be compare that to working remote, but the point is, whatever you want to accomplish, it's easier when you have people encouraging you and people that you're, let's say, accountable to. So one of the things, just a really random example that popped in my head. Um, I was like for a while I was gambling too much with Bitcoin. So I'm gonna make another video on that, like top 10 mistakes to make with Bitcoin and how to avoid them. So I mean, nothing like like spending all the money I needed for food and rent, but like just a little bit more than I should have. And so I just told my friend one day, I was like, listen. Um, I'm gonna give you, and I gave him like some money to hold. I was like, here's some money, and if I go on and I'm an honest person. Like if I gamble or something, I would tell him, or I would be honest with myself and with him. So listen, if I do that, the money's yours. But if I don't, then I get it back in 1 month or 2 months or something like that. And it worked, and that was it. I never did it again after that. So anyway, just being went off a little tangent, but being accountable is really important. Um, Speaking of which, let's go into a couple more tips. I know it's already 13 minutes long. I wrote them down here. Checking. Um, yeah. So whether you're working full time already, just in a traditional job, or whether you're not and you're just looking for remote work, either way, it's important to set specific goals with a schedule and stick to that. And again, being in Reddit or just being in some other online communities um, can can help with that. People who are doing the same, so you can kind of check in with them, or even if you have like your significant other or like a best friend who can help keep you on track. You tell them your plan, and you say, okay, you can actually even set a deadline for yourself. That okay, I have. If you're in a full-time job that isn't remote and your boss is not so flexible on that, but okay, I'm going to give myself 6 months or whatever it is, and then I'm going to quit by that date. And then you can kind of work backwards from there and make plans like, okay, so month one, I want to have this done. Month two, I want to have that done. And so on until you get to month six. And then freedom, right? After that. I'm just looking at this here. Yeah. And then breaking that down. So your overall goal, the goal, number one goal is, hey, ding, 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 you're a winner. And the and we all live happily ever after is that you are working full-time remote. Um, well, for some people, or if it's part-time remote, maybe you want to do that, whatever your goal is. And then along the way, you want to make specific steps. So, let's say if you wanted to do it, so there's a couple ways. You could be freelance, you could have your own company, or you could be just looking for a full-time job employer that will let you work full-time like me. So let's say it was the latter and you wanted a full-time job. It could be like, okay, well, um, what are some steps to do that? Well, I want to apply for jobs every day or every week. So then you said, even I found even every day if you could do something like, okay, maybe Sunday take off, but like it's most of the days a week, let's say, whatever it is, or every other day. But just pick a schedule, stick to it. It's like, okay, every other day, I want to apply to one new job. Great, do it, right? And then keep a little log, maybe like even like a Google Drive doc or something like that. And that way, like you could share it with people who are helping you be uh, accountable, so they can see that you actually did it. I know it sounds silly, but it actually will really help you, like internally. It'll help you motivate because you know, like, oh, my girlfriend's gonna be checking on this, or um, whatever. Whoever these people in this community are gonna be checking on this. So putting this, making it public, yeah. If you want to just like make it public, you put it in a community. This is what I'm doing. Boom, and then you know that people are looking into it, so it's going to motivate you. Okay, so that's kind of like the overall, like kind of like a strategy, good strategy to check it again. So anything new? If they have any other tips to share, otherwise I have a couple other things. Uh, oh, yes, it was the wrong link. I gotta hold on a second. I gave some the wrong link to this live video. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's hard to multitask, do this video and write in the chat at the same time. Okay, where was I? A couple specific tips. Um, yeah, so if you want to do, go back here. So I already talked about like approaching it from the standpoint of already having a full-time job, but if you don't yet, and let's say you want to either you want to be full-time freelancer, which I used to do, or you want to just freelancing is like a really nice way to get your feet wet in your new like, line of work. Let's say you want to do something else, like you're in marketing and you want to transition to journalism, whatever it is. Doing freelance work in that field is a great way to get started because it'll show you, number one, that you can make already, you can start making money, even if it's like you're making a few dollars, whatever. It's actually probably a good strategy to underprice your services when you're getting started before you have references and before you have people that can attest to your work that you've done a good job. It's probably better to underprice yourself for the marketplace. Um, and that's a perfect transition for my next point that websites like Fiverr and Upwork are two of the biggest freelance websites out there. So kind of, starting a profile and putting your services on those sites are just great ways to get again get your feet wet, and then you can see what other professionals in that doing similar work are charging, and then slightly underprice what you can offer. Even if you offer just as good of a job, if not better, you don't have any experience there. So underpricing is a nice way to at least. The main point is not to make money in the beginning. Like okay, making a few bucks is great, but to just get those to get some good reviews. So people that you do work for, you say okay, and as a thank you, I'd really appreciate 5 star, or write me some nice feedback there if you like what I did. So that's a nice way to transition. Doing the freelance thing, and this is already almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to end this video soon. So doing the freelance thing, Upwork again or Fiverr are two of the biggest and best websites for offering your services freelance. And then, before I end this video, I also want to mention a couple other, so that's if you want to do your own, whether you want to be eventually a full time freelancer, maybe eventually have your own company, and then have people you employ and stuff that will come later. But either way, it's a nice way to start out freelance. Now, on the other token, let's say you just like whatever your field or desired job is. Let's say you want to do that. Just have a full-time employer like me. In some ways, I mean, there's trade-offs with both, and I'm actually making another video on that because that's another great topic to talk about. But because I have done both, and I started out freelance. I did freelance social media marketing and like online, like online business consulting and that kind of thing. And it was great. I love the freedom and just like whenever I want, I'm just like, hey, I want to just go on a vacation for a week. All right, that's it. I'm going, and that's it. Like there's no like, it's literally unlimited time vacation days. But of course, then you're not making money. And then the biggest downside I found to working freelance is that like literally half the time you spend is always looking for more clients, and that was just getting really annoying. So I wanted which I have done now, transition to full time, just being paid, salary, benefits, all that good stuff, and doing it remote. So how I did that was, there's a couple, and you Google, you can find a bunch of like different websites now for looking for remote jobs. One of my favorite is I mentioned in my cheat sheet, by the way, uh, weworkremotely.com. It doesn't have the biggest selection of jobs, but it's regularly updated, and they're like really good curated jobs. So like they're all like legit opportunities, um, remote, and I think I might have found the job I have now there. I'm not sure. It was a few years ago, but either way, it's a great resource, and I have a couple others that I put in my free cheat sheet. You can download below in the description. And you can even find more. I think I only list a couple, but yeah, the point being, there's a lot of sites for that. So part of your strategy can definitely be applying for that. Making sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date, all that good stuff. But also, what's covered in probably the number one job research manual, best-selling, all-time job hunt book in the world is "What Color Is Your Parachute?" And I got this idea from there that says, okay, everyone does that. It's good, it's good to do. You should apply to jobs, but you should really take it a step further if you really want to have the most opportunity. Is apply directly or reach out directly to companies and or people at companies that who could potentially hire you, or they know someone who could hire you, and just tell them about you, you're interested, why you're qualified, why you're interested in them, and that you would love the opportunity if in case they have any openings or if they know of anyone, who's looking, that kind of thing. So this is kind of like a way around the traditional just, oh, I'm going to apply for the job and here's my resume. And resume. Resumes are way overrated, by the way. Um, so this way is yeah, it's kind of harder, like, because you don't know if they're hiring, um, and maybe there's no officially, and a lot of times they're not officially hiring. But if get in at the right time, maybe they're just thinking about hiring, or when you tell them all the cool stuff that you can do, they're like, actually, yeah, this guy sounds really good. Guess what? Guess how many people are competing for that same job? Right. So you have literally no competition, and it's really cool because again, you kind of have to get lucky. But when you're applying for a job online, um, or any official posted position, you have competing with hundreds or thousands of other applicants. This way, there's no competition. So if you ask at the right time, you're getting the job, right? You just if you can actually, well, okay, it's not that easy, but it is a really cool way, um, that a lot of people don't think about, and I can say I got, 1.5 jobs that way. So one job I got, like, they weren't even hiring, and they said, "Yeah, but thanks for reaching out, and I'll let you know in a couple months, we might be soon." I was like, "Okay, well, I don't have my hopes up," but sure enough, about 6 weeks later, he's like, "Guess what? We're hiring, and we want you." And we had been kinda talking a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, keep in touch." So I told him a little bit about myself, and that was for my first full time remote job. in Boulder, Colorado. It was awesome. Uh, anyway, the other job that, and then I'm going to end this video because it's 25 minutes now. So the other job that let's see, did I post my link? Yeah, that I got. It was I think they were, yeah, there we go. Okay, they were hiring, but so I applied for the job and they said, "Oh, sorry, we're not, we're not hiring for that. That position's already been filled." So then I started talking to them. I was like, "Oh, really? Well, if that's been filled. It's the social media thing has been filled. I can also do X, Y, Z. On the, like, blogging and content creation and all these other things." Oh, okay, interesting, nice. Well, we're not hiring for that right now, but we'll keep you in mind in the future. So, okay, great. Again, didn't have my hopes up, and sure enough, I don't know, it was like 3 months later, like, actually, yeah, we need to hire someone now for support and sales. And would you be interested in the job? And I said, absolutely. And that was my second full-time remote job. Um, okay, so I'm going to end it there. Um, if you liked this video, if you found anything helpful, please write in the comments. You can also ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer anything. Right now, since this is a brand new channel, it's just kind of me ranting. But in the future, I'd love to have like people join online that you can ask me questions and I'll just answer them. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, feedback is great. And subscribe to the channel. All right, thanks so much. And you can check out my other videos too, because I have a bunch of I'm doing a video every day. So all different digital nomad and work remote type topics. Um, all right, take care. Bye.